watching Throttle House. I'm Thomas.
And I'm James. And as part of our track series, we wanted to test the 2021 Lexus RCF Track Edition.
This car's kind of had a bit of an interesting narrative arc. It was kind of like that kid in high school that was bigger and all of his friends were football players. Then years went by and his friends started, eating a little bit too much Wendy's, and he started working out, and all of a sudden they turn around and go, oh hey, what the hell happened?
Here it is, the Lexus RCF Track Edition. A rear-wheel drive 472 horsepower track machine. It's encapsulated in carbon fiber and tuned to dominate a racetrack. The problem is, this particular platform was never that inspiring as a performance machine to begin with.
But with the Track Edition, Lexus has gone to great lengths to make this car handle like a track-specific sports car should. And at over $120,000 Canadian, it's more expensive than any of its direct competitors. More expensive even than a Porsche Cayman GT4. So yeah, it better be absolutely off the charts good. Let's find out. Look at that! Okay, rewind to 2015 when the RCF first came out. Journalists fat-shamed this car, not very nice, so Lexus, in response, like all of us when we feel a bit portly, went straight to the gym. Except they didn't. They waited 5 years, and in 2020, they actually made some significant changes. They went over the whole car, changing steel components to aluminium. They went with a lighter air conditioning compressor. They hollowed out the rear half shafts, and they even made some things in carbon fiber.
But this is the Track Edition. That means that these wheels and brakes are lighter to reduce unsprung mass. The hood, the roof, and the wing are all carbon fiber. There's even a carbon fiber partition behind the rear seats. And the exhaust is titanium.
So it's lighter. But what does that mean when you get behind the wheel?
I'm sorry, am I in your way? Am I in your way?
I thought I was driving first. Is that a classic Alpha?
What?
That is the sound of a naturally aspirated 5-litre V8. Something we've learned to love from Lexus, because we experienced it in the LC500. In this, we get 472 horsepower and 395 pound-feet of torque. That is a naturally aspirated torque number. It's lower than the horsepower number. We've traded some torque for some predictability. As a result, switching to manual, I can live high in the revs in this car. And when I put the power down, it's just immediately there. I'm not waiting for turbos to spool up. And with that comes a sound that you don't get with turbochargers. Music. That said, I don't think it's as perfect as the LC500. It doesn't seem as sonorous. But it is still a very pleasant sound. A formula that's going to get carried over into that new IS500F Sport performance. Anyone else excited for that? That said, I am missing some torque low in the rev range. Comes in about 4,000 RPM quite strong, but it makes you want to wring it out. And that's why if you were to average the speed of our driving in our naturally aspirated test cars, we're probably being a bit cheekier because those cars make you rev and it's engaging. Perfect on a track. So how does it handle? Well, steering for one thing. Lexus is not new, and That sometimes presents itself best with the steering. It's old feeling, but it's nice and direct.
So, on paper, all those things I just mentioned should make for a successful formula. But is that true in reality? Yeah, I'm not so sure. It also doesn't even feel as quick as its rivals. But let's see what Thomas makes of it.
Okay, James says this isn't as quick as the Germans, but this is the track edition, so it gets launch control. So I click that button and then I click the launch button. Left foot on the brake. And no, that didn't work that time, so we're gonna try again. It's really finicky, I don't know why. Usually Lexus is, but there we go, and off we go. It's no low down torque really, so, and there it is. And the aim solo says 4.96 seconds. That's not that good, is it?
So, it's not super quick in a straight line, but the predictable power delivery and the fact that it's a track edition, which stiffens the suspension components and lightens the car, means that it should dominate the corners, right? Well, not really.
Up until 9/10, this car is really, really good.
It just doesn't seem to be able to sort itself out over any type of bump. But thankfully, when you really start pushing it, it gets worse.
Drifted a lot of cars around that corner. This is the hardest car I have slid around our track. I don't know why. Combination of the suspension and the differential and the way that the steering works, but you chuck it into a corner and as soon as you're in a slide, you are just on it to keep the car in a straight line. Compared to an M car, which is incredibly settled in the middle of a slide, this isn't. Pole goes around on its suspension, and it's not consistent with the way that it applies power to the rear wheels. It's kind of the problem with the torsion diff. But you know what? It does sound better than anything that the Germans are doing right now. So, I'm gonna do a hot lap in a second. I'm a bit concerned that it's just not gonna be able to handle itself well enough to let me lay down a really fast time. And I mean like other cars that are similar price to this, I don't know, like a GT350, or well, the M4, C63, an M2 competition even, that's cheaper than this. They're really well sorted for a track like this. So I don't know quite what's gonna happen, but let's find out.
Okay, time for the hot lap. This year we are timing using the AIM Solo 2DL. Now, the RCF, as we learned, is not for sideways hooliganism, and well, it's not really for this type of driving either. I found the suspension really difficult to get along with. Sport Plus was way too bouncy, and the next stiffest setting wouldn't let the rear end settle. So I did laps in both, and the Sport setting was the quickest. I found the car very hard to carry any speed in, and I had a difficult time putting the power down in a predictable way. However, the engine is great as long as you're shifting manually, and I'll always choose a naturally aspirated engine like this over something turbocharged at the track. Let's watch the rest of the lap. Okay, that was a 113.63, which means it's slower than an A91 Supra, slower than an M2 competition, and just a little bit quicker than a Tesla Model 3 Performance.
Okay, how's that for a lap time? Wait, hold on.
Oh, that doesn't sound great.
Listen, I'll give it to them if it's because they removed some weight from the door.
You know
they're
what?
allowed,
No.
but this is not very Lexus-y.
I think weight savings is the biggest scapegoat in the car industry. Why is that crap?
Oh, this was so much
It's lighter, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the lap time,
Yeah,
not massively impressed.
no. But I mean, I guess it makes sense. It's not,
It makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense though. But it looks the part.
I think it looks really
I
good.
like the RC shape. We never saw enough on the road.
No, it was they didn't sell. Sorry, Alexis. However, we always get a lot of poop for saying that the M4 grill.
What are you, 8 years old? Just
Yeah.
say shit. You can say shit on YouTube. You don't even need to bleep shit.
Anyway, so the M4 grill is actually not objectively as big as this by measurements.
No.
But I don't think this looks as bad as the M4 grill because it's not the size of the grill, it's the way it's applied to the front of the car.
Agreed. Yeah, I think Socrates said that actually.
Yes, absolutely,
Yeah,
yeah.
he was a busy man.
Mm-hmm. This is
the hourglass, right?
Yeah, it's a good looking front end, you know? Like, well, anyway, from here it is. However, if you look at the side, it starts to look really weird.
I think they've gone
Right there.
bulbous, I think they've gone sporty.
Yeah.
It's got, this is the track edition, so
Yep.
it's got the carbon fiber bonnet, carbon fiber roof, carbon fiber spoiler.
It's got a big wang.
A big wing,
Yeah.
big aggressive spoiler.
Yes.
Which I'm impressed by. The Germans aren't that brave.
No,
Until you get to Porsche.
It's also not like active, right? So it's lighter. They just picked an amount of downforce and have stuck to it.
Except, you can only get this in black, white or grey. No yellows, no blues, no reds. Just
I
grey.
want it to be a car like this. I want it to be loud. I want people to see across the distance and go, "That's the track edition." I know that because it's that special cool color.
Well, you see the spoiler.
This looks like the color of
Look.
those trees that don't have leaves on them.
They've tried to have fun with it in some places. The engine bay,
Oh, that's right. Because what were we in recently that had a really boring engine bay?
the M4 competition.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
true. It just.
Don't get me wrong, this isn't enthralling.
No.
But
Okay.
there's some flair.
That color though that they've chosen for the intake manifold looks like someone went and got like a classic pack of Crayola markers,
Yeah,
picked
yeah.
the purple and went and just colored it.
It has the vibe
But-
of like a strip club in the middle of the day.
Do we have any more analogies for this? You got another one? I don't have any more.
Nothing.
Okay. Either way, it's exciting. It's fun. They did a thing that's not just they dressed it up. At least they dressed it up.
And they've dressed up the inside. That's kind of the only way. That the inside's not crazy, but they've done some things to make it the track edition.
Okay. No, the doors don't sound good.
No,
it's because
no.
what lightness is lightness.
I don't normally pick on doors. I pick on some of my own size.
Yeah. Okay, so I gotta point something out here.
Yeah.
So for my wife, I bought a 2015 Lexus IS 300.
Wow, what a guy.
Yeah. It was. Well, I mean, she bought it. I just helped her pick it up. It was 25 grand.
Yes.
Works great, low kilometers, and it has the exact same interior as this car.
But
Yep.
I bet you your wife's car doesn't have what the track edition gets, which is red leather and Alcantara lining the doors, the seats, and I'm pleased to announce the carpet does match the drapes in here.
Oh yeah.
Because the carpet is also red flare.
You don't see that very often. That's actually kind of a cool touch that the carpet changed.
No, and also, if you remember, we were in the RS7 Performance
Yeah,
recently,
yeah.
and I was super excited because the carbon fiber weave was lined with the blue. Well, say hello to Pokemon Red, because this has got red line, and I love that touch.
No, it actually looks really good. I do like that. It's a fun touch. It matches perfectly with the red. Anyway, the rest of this is just the new. I can't say new. Is that wrong? New is not the right word. This is the old Lexus. This is the only IS interior that I've ever known. It's been around forever until like how many? 6 years ago?
Long time.
Anyway, they've changed the gauge cluster though. That's cool. I really like that. That's like kind of out of the LFA. This is the infotainment that is not really even worth talking about because it's annoying. It's the same as the LC500. Climate control is no different, and none of this stuff is any different. However, it is pretty comfortable. I will say the base IS
comfortable?
seats are not that comfortable. These are a
No,
lot
yeah,
nicer.
these are special
Yeah.
seats as
Yeah.
well. And the as you said, it's dated, but the materials are very nice.
They are nice. Well, it's still kind of Toyota-ish,
Yeah.
but I do like it. I really like the gauge cluster. I got to say that again. I really, really like these gauge clusters.
I do have a few complaints.
Okay.
So, first of all, if you get the track edition,
Yeah.
you actually give up a lot of things, which for $35,000 extra, it starts to not make sense. Like,
Kind of the way, though.
but it's not sporty enough
Okay.
to just. You lose the ventilated seats. You
Yeah.
lose the heated seats. You
Really?
lose the Mark Levinson sound system. Like, they could have gone crazy. They could have done a rear seat delete. I mean, these seats are not useful. A 2 Series has more comfortable rear
Devil's
seats.
advocate.
Yeah.
I respect the fact that they did whatever they could to bring the weight of this car down to probably where it should have been at its inception in engineering. So things like heated seats, all that stuff adds
But
up.
would you not have done these are unusable seats. Would you not rather have had a rear seat delete and heated seats?
I agree, yes.
Yeah.
You know what? Put a roll bar, rear seat delete, and some harnesses and make it a proper track edition. They went 99% of the way.
However, it's been very easy to live with.
Yep.
It's very comfortable in eco mode.
The ride
cruises.
is great.
Yeah.
The ride is really good. So there's definitely some Lexus elements in there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But otherwise, listen, this isn't a bad car at all. I think as far as this chassis goes, I think they've done a fantastic job with maximizing it. Honestly.
You just have to ignore the fact that you can get an M2 CS and a Miata for the price of this one car. And the M2 the M2 CS has usable back seats.
Yeah, that's hard. That's hard to argue. M2 CS.
But naturally aspirated V8.
Yay!
Yeah, unfortunately for Lexus, the naturally aspirated part can only get you so far. Sometimes, sports cars are more than just the sum of their parts. This time, it's less. It also steals away too many comforts from the normal RCF in the name of performance. Although yous lucky Americans do get to option the new Fuji Speedway Track Edition with the Mark Levinson sound system. So there's that.
So with all its new improvements, whilst this is possibly the Lexus RCF that should have come out originally, it is still to this day not competitive enough to undercut the Germans, and nor is it priced that way either. The good news is, if you have no plans to actually track your Lexus and you still want that naturally aspirated V8 coupe, the LC500 delivers in spades. For cheaper. Thanks for watching.
They changed a bunch of the steel components to aluminium. They made the air compressing lighter air conditioning weight less. What the f was that? Thomas always told me to fall forward.
What was that sentence that you just said? I wish I could do it again. The air conditioning lighter with weight less.
Okay.
Oh, fuck me, that's funny. I told you, James, to land on your feet, not just fall forward.